You like to summon that pet, huh? How about summoning a second pet, and a third, and a fourth, and a fifth, and a sixth, and a seventh? How many pets can you have as BM Hunter? Well, you can have quite a bit, and you can buff them quite a bit, but it's kind of annoying, and we will discuss that today in today's video of BM Hunter in the Dragonflight beta with surprisingly very few changes considering how the talent tree feels. But you know how you should feel. Grateful that we're doing these videos. That sounds very weird to say, but you can hit that like and subscribe button and enable those notifications. It does help us out. It makes the video reach out to more people. It gets you notified when we post all sorts of different things, because we do more than just this, and maybe you like some more of our content, which you can check on our channel. And hitting those three little things definitely helps us a lot. We will be super grateful. It takes like 3 seconds. Please do it, please do it, please do it. Thank you very much. Love you. Now let's see if we can love BM Hunter the same way, because damn. All right, listen, so we talked about most of the general talent tree options with marksmanship, although there are 1 or 2 things that are worth mentioning specifically for BM Hunter, and one of those is certed shots, which is a new talent all the way down that I think replaced the old necessary trapping apparatus. What certed shot does, a 2-pointer, because why not? We're hunters. Serpent Sting and bleed damage increased by 10%, 20% for the second point. And this value is increased to 20% against targets below 30% health, or to 40%. Basically 40% extra bleed damage in execute, which is good because as it stands right now, although tuning is definitely going to change, the biggest damage dealer that you have right now is barb shots. And there are definitely builds that can facilitate barb shot dealing very, 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 very large amounts of damage. So this will probably be mandatory. If the spec releases as it is today, you will never not take certed shots, because what are you doing? Pick certed shots now. And to further double down on the execute damage, you can take the Killer Instinct choice note for kill command as a capstone, making kill command deal 50% increased damage to enemies below 35% health to actually be that execute hunter that you've always wanted to be. Which is again on you know, like a little side note, why are these capstones in any way, since these were like kind of basic abilities or first row talent abilities for the longest amount of time. But we're steadily going into the issues with Hunter's general talent tree, and not necessarily issues in terms of mechanical issues, but more as in design as to why we're doing this. You might see some other capstones change, but I'm talked about it in the marksmanship video, which we did, and you can check that out as well. You'll probably still want to take Master Marksman, which is also another source of bleed, and since Beast Mastery uses a lot of crit, Master Marksman can probably become another one of your baseline. Very important, always take talents. Also a 2-pointer and 2-pointer, because you cannot just get one with 1 point. And let's actually talk about that. Listen, there's like 2 main ways that specs are currently designed in Dragonflight when we talk about the point spending, the point economy for the talent points. There are the specs like Shaman, for instance, or like Arms Warrior, Fury Warrior, that just have like a plethora of options, and most of them are 1-point investments, which is amazing. Feels good to get, oh, that's a cool mechanic. I put a point in, I got it. Beast Mastery, however, has so many multiple point nodes that most of them are also mandatory to get to actually get the mechanic that you need, or to also progress through the talent tree. And this felt weird and bad before, and it still feels weird and bad now. Now, I don't know if they somehow reduced some of the talent points costs. I still see a whole bunch of 3-pointers that I'm not very happy with, but there are some good changes. But why do we have to like, why did they have to like give us with one hand and take with the other? So first of all, Cobra shot is now at the top of the talent tree instead of barb shot, which I guess doesn't really matter, because barb shot is like really underneath Cobra shot. It's you're always gonna take both of them. It doesn't really matter which one is where, to be fair, but hey. Loaded Quiver is now baseline, and in its place you have Aspect of the Beast, which is now a 1-pointer, which, okay, yes, finally, one of them. While Cobra Sting is on the far left-hand side, which is why? Because, well, a Cobra shot have a 25% chance, 50 if you put 2 points in, because 2-pointers, to reset the cooldown of kill command. And this is where we start going into some of the issues, because obviously you would think that this is really good. Now reduce the cooldown of kill command and make it cost no focus. Because of this, you don't actually spend focus when casting kill command, and this actually procs quite a bit, especially in single target. And in AoE, it's silly because you're hardly ever casting Cobra shot in AoE, which is, I don't know why, but this is here. So you're going to overcap a lot on focus. Now this talent doesn't particularly go well with the barb shot talents, which give you a lot of focus, but the barb shot talents are also tied to Cobra shot talents, and this is also another Cobra shot ability. This is one of the talents where you don't want to pick it in certain builds because it might just actually feel awkward since you're over bloated with resources. Thrill of the Hunt, which is right next to Cobra Sting, is a 3-pointer, and this is one of the things that I mentioned. This, for 3 points, gives you 9% crit if you can maintain the Frenzy up. Maintaining Frenzy maintains Thrill of the Hunt, they kind of go hand in hand, but it's a 3-pointer. And to keep going down the left-hand side of the talent tree, you either have to take this or Cobra Sting, which neither of them feel good, specifically if you want to get more of the Dire Beast playstyles, which right now is severely undertuned. I think that's an appropriate tone to actually showcase that all of the Dire Beast talents can accumulate in a fifth of the value of a trinket in terms of damage. Why? Why, oh why, oh why, oh why, oh why, oh why, oh why is this a build when obviously its tuning numbers can change, but like a 25% or 20% of the talent tree is you having more pets, which is cool. That's what I want to do as a Beast Mastery, but they do no damage. So because they do no damage, it just feels like you have to waste points. And if you want to test out the build, see how it feels as a playstyle, disregarding the numbers, you have to invest so many points into stuff like Thrill of the Hunt, which you kind of have to because crit is kind of like quintessential for Beast Mastery. Plus Dire Frenzies has been renamed essentially. It's a 2-pointer following after a 3-pointer. Alright, middle side of the talent tree. Barbed Wrath was moved under Bestial Wrath, which makes a little bit more sense since it does require you to have Bestial Wrath to properly use it. Stomp is also a 2-pointer because why wouldn't it be a 2-pointer? Scent of Blood is still a 2-pointer. Wild Call is now directly down from Bestial Wrath, and this, thank God, is only 1-pointer, but this is like a core mechanic of Beast Mastery, and it's way on this side. You kind of really want it for the spec to kind of work under the hood. Basically what Wild Call does, if you don't know, your auto shot critical strikes have a 20% chance to reset the cooldown of Barb Shot. This is what makes you able, sometimes if you have enough crit, to maintain 100% uptime on 3 stacks of Frenzy on your pet, which is the main mechanic of Beast Mastery in terms of maintaining high damage output, at least in single target, although you kind of really want this at all times. Not to mention that going into Bestial Wrath, you have to talent into Beast Cleave. You cannot go away from Beast Cleave. You can go around Beast Cleave, but you have to spend so many points to Thrill the Hunt to get to Bestial Wrath if you do want to avoid taking Beast Cleave, which is why. All right, listen. You might think that, hey, Flame is just biased with Beast Mastery. He just doesn't like the spec because it's too simple and he wants to play big brain specs. That's not actually true because Beast Mastery for 17 years has been my favorite hunter spec, and for the last couple of expansions it's been a little bit of a and I thought that this time around with the new talent system it can be more than just and it's not that. However, there's one upside to all of this is that we do have a new talent called Brutal Companion, which is a 1-pointer, because thank you, because I wouldn't have been surprised if this was a 2 or 3-pointer. What Brutal Companion does is when Barb Shot causes Frenzy to stack up to 3, your pet immediately uses its special attack and deal 100% bonus damage. And you might think that this is something that only activates once you reach 3 stacks, but it also activates when you refresh the 3 stacks, which I think is really good. Mechanically, that's how that should work, because you never want a talent that incentivizes you dropping Frenzy stacks. That is very silly. The damage is good. It's not overpowered. This feels like a capstone, actually. This feels like a good talent, which kind of outclasses a lot of other talents which are heavy point investors. And we're going into the right-hand side where it's also just as, if not more, egregious. Right-hand side is filled with boring damage increases, which we still have, which to be honest, I kind of hope they were placeholders until they do something more interesting, which is what they've done for a lot of other specs. They didn't know what talent to put there, and they just put like flat 5% the extra damage and 10% if you put 2 points or something like that. First of all, the connection between multi-shot and kindred spirits is gone now, and you can say that it's been moved to training expert and killer command, and I don't know why, but hey, multi-shot only goes down to beast cleave, which they're both AoE. But then again, why limit these connections? They definitely want to force you into a specific build, and this is how beast mastery feels. It feels like you are forced to play a specific way, which has historically been not a good mentality to impart on the side of the players when playing whatever spec or class you want to play. And for the last three talents before the gate, Sharp Barbs is here, basically makes barb shot damage increase by 20 and then 40%. Like I mentioned, just flat. It's a decent check. The thing is, the damage increase is very significant and you will want it, and it also costs 2 points. Then you also have War Orders further down, also 2-pointer. Barb Shot deals 5% increased damage, 10% with the 2 points, and applying Barb Shot has a 50%, 100% then chance to reset the cooldown of Kill Command. Once again, casting more kill commands. I mean, this is a good talent. It's not as boring at the very least, but it is more flat damage increase, and it is also a 2-pointer, which I would hope to see a lot less of. Now, Aspect of the Wild is further down from War Orders, and it has been completely redesigned. And still, I'm not a fan of a cooldown ability being this far right. You can say that the reason why it's this far right is because on the left-hand side, the counterpart is Dire Beast, which are in no way similar cooldowns. What Aspect of the Wild does is actually kind of interesting. To give credit where credit is due, it now fires a Cobra shot at your current target and one other enemy near your current target. So basically cleaves Cobra shot, and for the next 20 seconds, your Cobra shot will also fire at one extra target, and it reduces the focus cost of Cobra shot. Once again, making, like, I don't know. Okay, listen. Cleaving Cobra Shot is really cool, and not to mention, since you do have talents like Cobra Senses just above it, that makes Cobra Shot reduce the cooldown of Kill Command by an additional 1 second, totaling to 2 total seconds. And thinking that the tooltip would be obvious and rational and make a lot of logical sense, you would think that during Aspect of the Wild, Cobra Shot, if you have hit 2 targets, will reduce the cooldown of Kill Command by 4 seconds, which is a lot of Kill Command cooldown reducements. So now you will have a very, very heavy rotation in terms of globals, because you don't really want to cap on focus and you don't really want to cap on cooldown reduction for kill command, so you'll have to make sure that you keep kill command on cooldown all the time, and you want to make sure that you use the Cobra shot as efficiently as possible in terms of the cooldown reduction, and you want to make sure that at the same time you're also keeping a barb shot up and the frenzy stacks up. Not to mention that you'll have plenty of mechanics that reset the cooldown of barb shot, and you'll end up capping either kill command or either barb shot with the current situation as it is. And if you don't want to cap either of them, you're going to cap focus. So maybe the rotation is not going to be this complicated or with these many conditions, and maybe one of them is just going to be way more damage. And barb shot right now is just way more damage. You're probably going to, if you're going to choose not to cap something, you're probably going to choose not to cap barb shot. But then again, it just feels weird and it feels very counterintuitive in terms of a playstyle, and I hope they revisit this, because it definitely makes Beast Mastery complex, but not in more complicated and more complex, but not necessarily in a good way. I see what they're trying to do, but the resource economy is just not there. They would have to like look at this and see what they can do with resource economy, because I like it having more intricacies, but this is just not it. And not to mention, this goes down into and to go more with this style of play, you can actually go with a Killer Cobra capstone all the way on the middle, which is something that we've been having for a while, where Bestial Wrath is active. Cobra Shot resets the cooldown on kill command, which again goes against the extra seconds cooldown reduction. And if you also have Cobra Sting for whatever reason from the left-hand side, you will just be bloated with resources. There's too many mechanics that reduce the cost or cooldown of things that kind of work against each other, and it's counterintuitive. Nothing is necessarily bad for the performance of the spec, it's just counterintuitive, and it feels bad. It feels bad because we can get rid of one of these mechanics that works against the other one and maybe put something that's more interesting. add more flat damage, increase the cost of focus but deal more damage, right? Do something like that. Maybe that will at least make it more interesting and make you think about what cooldown suppress. But this comes down to the cadence of the spec in terms of its rotation, and this requires probably some more testing. So I would be surprised if Beast Mastery will not be addressed by the time, let's say, the new raid launches. I'm not even saying by the time the expansion releases, because I feel like this requires a lot more data. Although it is possible that the True Shot Lodge, a big brain theory crafter hunters, already pointed this out. But when it's obvious for like an average player, or let's say above average player, since we do play all specs here at like, let's say, heroic plus 15 plus 20 level, if it feels that obvious for us, it's clearly very obvious to like the big brain people. So I don't know. But Aspect of the Wild does get some interesting upgrades. Interesting. Master Handler is one of them. Each temporary beast summoned reduces the cooldown of Aspect of the Wild. Again, thinking about the potential summons of your dire beasts, but this talent is all the way over here, so that's weird. The other upgrade cap choice node is Snake Bite. While Aspect of the Wild is active, Cobra Shot deals 30% increased damage, meaning that you would want to press Cobra Shot even more. But then again, the choice node doesn't really make sense with the overall distribution of the talents. And although it's cool to have Cobra Shot be super relevant and hit really hard, why do we have so many talents that influence kill commands? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's right now Beast Mastery is struggling. It's suffering from a struggle of identity, and it's really hard to create a proper identity when you want to build a specific identity in the talents. You're blocked by so many walls of 2-pointers and 3-pointers talents that, although I don't mind having 3-pointers or 2-pointers, don't make them annoying, because it does feel like it's annoying right now. It feels like I want to do something cool with the talents that you gave me that work together with each other, but I have to like spend half of my life savings just to get to the point. And we've proved this time and time again, and pretty much the player base has proved this time and time again that it's annoying when you're being told how to play, and this is not what the talent trees are supposed to design. This is not what the message should be imparted. Not to mention, in a world where we have so many good examples of them doing it right. You have awesome examples like Warlock, which Warlock has a plethora of abilities and playstyles, and they're mostly 1-pointers. And you can get one or the other, and there are 2-pointer talents in these talent trees, and they feel, oh, I definitely want the 2-pointer, I'm gonna put 2 points in. But now it feels like, oh, I have to get 2 or 3 points into this node. And I don't think that's a good design or a good mentality to have Beast Mastery. And considering that what they're trying to do is actually really cool. I really like the direction that they're doing it. It's just the implementation, as always, feels like it's suffering a little bit. I don't want to trash it because it is a spec very dear to my heart as a Hunter spec, of my favorite thematically Hunter spec, and it kind of sucks that it reached this this level of design. So, man. But hey, maybe I'm the only one that thinks this. Let me know in the comment section if I am full of it, and tell me why Beast Mastery is a much better spec than I think it is. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you, dear patrons, for supporting the channel. And once again, like, comment, and subscribe, and enable those notification bell thingies. This is something we've been hearing for like 20 years over the YouTube, but it actually is important, and we are super grateful for it. Thank you, everybody. See you next time. Bye-bye.
I've been loving it then, I still love it now. Still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. Getting better every day, let me show you how. Cause still, I play WoW. Still, I play WoW. It's getting harder to stay, but at the end of the day, it's a guilty pleasure, so just log in and play. Whether it's classic or retail, I'ma do a /bow. Still, I play WoW.